Nancy and I hope that you are keeping as well as possible today. I just want to put a quick disclaimer out there. The opinions within this video are that of my own, and obviously everybody's going to be different. This is just from my personal experiences with chronic illness and the holiday season. I thought that I'd sit down and have a quick chat about Christmas time and the holidays and how it feels to be chronically ill around this time of the year. It's really hard to be somebody who lives with chronic illness at any time of the year, but Christmas and New Year are especially difficult. I think that a lot of us are fairly fixated on the fact that Christmas does only roll around once a year. Obviously, our idea of celebrating Christmas is going to be completely different to somebody who is in full health. We're obviously facing a lot of physical pain and symptoms around this time of year, so it's incredibly difficult to feel like we can put our energy into other experiences and Christmas festivities. Whilst we do want to make the most of the festive season, it can be really difficult to also feel like we can balance everything. I think that Christmas time and New Year especially have always been a really difficult time for me personally. I struggle a lot around Christmas and New Year. I think it's really difficult for me to fathom and get my head around the fact that I'm saying goodbye to 1 year in chronic pain and with a disability as a wheelchair user and entering another in the same position. Christmas for me has always essentially been a time of reflection, and it always reflects back on the fact that my health isn't really here. It's almost like when you look around your dinner table and there's a space missing and you instantly know who that person is that you wish could be there, whether they're not here because they live miles away or they've passed over. I always just feel like the one thing missing within my life every Christmas and New Year is my health, and that's quite a bitter pill to swallow for myself and probably for a lot of you too. The one thing that I wish I could truly drop when the year ends is the fact that I live in chronic pain with chronic illnesses and with a disability. I think that to stop me from really focusing on the fact that I don't have my health in the ways that I wish I did, I look towards a gratitude list and what I do have. I do have an amazing family, and some people are not lucky enough to say that. I have the most amazing godchildren who bring me so much joy that I could almost cry about it, and I bet my cousin's laughing if she's watching this. I have a roof over my head, I have a bed to sleep in, I have doctors that I can go and see when the Christmas period is over who will hopefully help me progress in some shape or form. There are definitely things within my life that I wish I could change, but everybody has that. And there's also things within my life that I'm incredibly grateful for and that my life would be a lot worse without. Pain is always going to be there, and pain has filled so many of my Christmases, more than what I would even want to remember. But it has also been the thing that I'm now trying to fight back against, and I think that we can all try to do that. I think that we really just have to remember that there are things for us to feel lucky about in life, even if it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes it takes me a really long time, especially on a really bad pain day, to actually think, you know what, it could be worse. It could always be worse, and there is always somebody worse out there. Now, I'm not trying to take away your pain at all, because I really dislike any of that. But I do just feel like sometimes we just have to be grateful for what we do have and just hope that there is better to come for us. I think in the run up to Christmas, knowing that you possibly have a lot on your plate is an overwhelming thought for anyone, let alone somebody with chronic illness and a disability. We are told by multiple doctors and clinicians to pace throughout the year, but it's even more important at Christmas time. I do, however, think that pacing is one of the hardest things to grasp. I really struggle with pacing, but I do know how beneficial it is at any time of the year, let alone at Christmas time. I spend a lot of the month of December just in bed because my pain increases a lot, my joint pain gets a lot worse, my fatigue gets a lot worse. I deal with a lot of migraines when the cold weather hits, and just knowing that, it's okay to take a step back, and then hopefully it will make you feel that tiny little bit better that you can actually accomplish something else. One of my Christmas Day traditions is that I have to have about a 3-hour nap, usually in my nan and granddad's house while everyone's downstairs celebrating. I kind of have to take myself away to recoup, but it doesn't really matter to me because I'm still trying my utmost to be involved with Christmas, and that's all you can do. You can just try your best. Some of us have different roles and responsibilities. Obviously, I'm young, I'm not married, I still live at home. There are people out there, however, who are homeowners and having everyone round for Christmas and the responsibility falls on their shoulders, or there are parents out there with chronic illness who are really struggling at this time of year as well, both physically and mentally and emotionally. It's really difficult because Christmas is a busy time of the year anyway, but when you are dealing with large amounts of pain and symptoms, it can be even more difficult to cope. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of symptoms on a personal level, whether that be noise sensitivity or dizziness or fatigue or just, limb pain, bone pain, body pain, every pain you could think of head to toe. So you kind of just have to figure out what is within your means, and that is the struggle, I feel personally. Some people might be able to instantly think of the things that they can do at Christmas time, but I'm somebody that really struggles, and I'm still struggling now to figure out what exactly can bring me that uplifting feeling and that joy. If you have any ideas, please do leave them below in the comment section, because not only would I love to hear them, but I'm sure everybody else would too. I think that many of us can feel quite pressurised around Christmas, and we can perhaps feel like there's either too much on our plate and too many things for us to be doing out there, or that our health isn't in a great situation for us to put ourselves out there and to enjoy the festivities. I think that ultimately those with chronic illness do miss out on a lot around the Christmas season, and unfortunately it's typically because we've not got as many friends as we did when we were healthy, or that we've just got such incredibly high pain levels that our functioning levels are just not up there and able to cope. It is quite difficult to sit back and be the observer of life and everything around you, and not being able to really participate fully in the things that you wish you could do. But ultimately there is something out there for everyone, and I do think that's important to remember. I think that there's always a way around it, and I'm only kind of waking up to that this year, that we can always find something that fills us with a tiny bit of joy and something that brings us a bit of the Christmas spirit too within our homes, and then sometimes we can venture out and do something Christmassy in the outside world. When I'm trying to think of the things that I can do, I really like to watch films, as long as my migraines are not taking over my body and my life. I love to play Christmas music, I love to decorate the house with my mum, I love to bake, and I love to decorate gingerbread houses. That's like a new tradition of mine because I absolutely loved it, and it actually took my mind off really worrying about Christmas Day. You can try and find a way where you can be involved in the Christmas season, whether that be with your family, with your friends, or with an online community. I think it will bring you that boost that you definitely need around Christmas and New Year. I think that when you are really struggling with your pain levels and your disability around Christmas time, it helps to just know that there is at least 1 or 2 people out there that feel exactly in the same way that you do. They're struggling, they're also in a lot of pain and discomfort, but they're trying their utmost just like you are this Christmas. It's been a very comforting thought for myself to know that I'm definitely not alone, and that I have friends all over the country and all over the world who are also suffering with chronic illness that are just a text away. Obviously, illness and pain are something that we're going to have to learn to deal with at Christmas time, because it's always going to be there. Obviously, again, this is just a personal experience. My conditions are long-term and they won't be going anywhere, unfortunately, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And sometimes you just got to shift your focus into a more positive stance so that you can fully embrace and enjoy any season that comes to pass, but especially Christmas and New Year. I think another comforting thought again would just be to rationalise the situation and to just know that, it's another year, you've been through it all before, you can get through it again, and you can also try your best to make this year your best yet. We have to remember that we are people first and foremost, we're not a diagnosis, and it can be really hard to feel that way when your entire Christmas is filled with a lot of pain levels and a lot of tears and a lot of sadness from your illnesses. But on the flip side, it's also filled with a lot of love from your family members or your friends or your pets. A lot of people who are living with chronic illness are not so lucky to have a supportive family or friends network. And I do really sympathise with those people, and I can't imagine how that feels. We're all very different, I think that goes without saying, and it's going to take some time to pinpoint exactly what you like to do at Christmas time that can fill you with some hope and joy and love. My heart goes out to those of you who are living with chronic illness and disability, and I do really hope that you have a lovely Christmas and a healthy and happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!